fun. All right, welcome to Sexy Freedom Media Podcast number 8. Today I have Dominique Daye Hunter, founder of IWISER, joining me.
Hey,
What's up, Dominique?
Not much.
What's up, Day Day?
Day Day. I got a new nickname. I like it.
Yeah. So what's up? What's up with you?
Oh my gosh, just finals right now. I am going to school at ASU and I'm studying nonprofit leadership management.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my current cross to bear, so to speak. And so wrapping up finals, and I'm a barista, so I work at a coffee shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which coffee shop?
At Smooth Brew on McDowell and 16th Street. So
smooth.
Come by. We have really good coffee, and I don't even drink coffee, but it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a tea person myself.
Nice. Is that what you're drinking right now?
Yes, I have my
tea going on
as always. Little grandma tea.
So, all right. So you're going to school, and what year is it for you?
I'm a. Technically, I'm a junior, so I have next semester of classes and then next fall my internship. So by December 2018, I will be done.
Wow.
I'm senior-ish.
When you're done, what is your ultimate goal with going to school? Is it like a bachelor's degree in what?
It'd be a bachelor's degree in nonprofit leadership management with an emphasis in American Indian Studies.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there, eventually I want to get my master's in therapeutic recreation and counseling. So I love animals and I want to help people. So my dream job would be to work with horses and dogs and stuff. And
like a veterinarian, or
more like so they have programs. There's programs for actually people of all ages to provide them with therapeutic recreation. So it could be like art therapy, aromatherapy, and then animal therapy is one of them. So you can actually utilize equine therapy, horses to help heal people, help people with either things from like cerebral palsy to even like PTSD.
Okay. So you love animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I love animals, and I want to help people. That's like my passion. That's what I feel like why I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, as cliche as it sounds, but
no, it doesn't sound cliche. I think there's definitely a purpose that we all serve.
Yeah.
So you are the founder of IWISER. Can you tell our audience what is IWISER?
Yeah, I am the actually co-founder, so that's a little tidbit, a little secret for you guys. I'm also, my other co-founder is Talia White. So what up, Talia?
What up?
So IWISER, Indigenous Women in Solidarity, Empowered and Rising. That's why we call it IWISER, because it's a punch full. But we're basically a grassroots group that seeks to reach out to our community and strengthen our community by strengthening ourselves as Indigenous women, empowering ourselves and one another through health and wellness and fitness, whether it be through like self-love and just positive, positive things in our lives, and through self-defense too. So that's kind of the third leg of IWISER that we're working on.
That's pretty cool. That's actually how I met you.
Yeah.
Is met you.
Yeah.
I could also see her in the video. That's how I met you. Is my friend Cass, who's a Booty yoga instructor, our friend Cass, from Prescott. What's up, Cass? She's a Booty yoga instructor, and you guys reached out to her, right? And had her put together a Booty BUTI yoga class for IWISER, and that was really awesome to go to. And I met you and your mother, your beautiful mom.
Yeah.
And we had an amazing time getting to know you guys and then learn about IWISER. And for me, it was pretty empowering. I really enjoyed the event. It definitely felt different than most booty classes that I had been to because of the emphasis on the whole tribal and the empowerment of the women in that class. So what's going on with IWISER right now?
With IWISER, so and this is something I guess we're gonna touch on too. Right now, we're working on a lot of outreach. So we were gonna be at the Red Mountain Powwow, but I had some health issues, so we weren't able to do that. But as we kind of go into our winter season, we're kind of just going into that reflective state. So really looking at IWISER and the work that we've done so far, I guess, in the summer months and the springtime. And then we have our winter storytelling event in December. So to kind of bring that together. So that's kind of in the works. And then for spring, so much. Spring is usually so busy.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to return some events that we had this past year, such as our parent-child empowerment workshop, booty yoga, Cass and Helen, as well as some fitness, perhaps working with Well for Culture. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Tosh. Depending on what's going on with their little baby bump. So we're kind of excited, just I guess reflecting now on the winter and then planning for the spring.
So let's rewind for a second. So you had some health issues. Do you want to share that with us? Or
yeah, definitely.
What happened?
Oh my goodness. So I guess to give a little bit of back history, I've had issues. Basically, they had to remove an ovarian cyst that was about this big. So pretty hefty.
Yeah.
It's pretty painful.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that I've had trouble with really, I think it's probably the same cyst that was just not letting me go probably for the last 6 or 7 years.
Oh my gosh.
So I really like to share what my story is, because I feel like it can help somebody else in that situation, please. So anyway, about 6 years ago, this cyst was about 2.5 centimeters, and it would just kind of come and go with my cycle. And it would cause pain, obviously. And I would just have pain in general. And then this past year, or about a year ago, last fall, I went to a GYN, and they said, like this cyst is now like 4.5 centimeters or whatever. So it was growing pretty slowly, still pretty heavy. And it would basically come like, with my cycle, and then it would kind of like just die like a balloon. Yeah. And that's kind of like what most women experience with cysts. So they very nonchalantly told me like, oh, well, we can remove the cyst, but we might not be able to save your ovary. But they were so nonchalant about it. I was like, peace. And on the way out of the GYN, like, this is why I really believe like being at the right place at the right time in your life is I walked out of the office and I turned around, and right next to the OBGYN was a crematorium.
What is that?
Like where they cremate people.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, double peace, like, whoa, literally, because I just personally, like, coming from my Indigenous roots, like, I don't believe that life and death should be mixed. Like, they were right next to each other. Wow. Like, they shared a wall. I was like, that's a little bit too much.
That's a sign.
Yeah, that was a sign. I was like, y'all should probably move. Like, so anyway, I didn't go back, and my plan was to basically go for like holistic options, and I was really blessed. I was able to attend a womb wellness workshop in January, hosted by the Chiopakli, I know I probably pronounced that wrong, I'm so sorry, collective of Indihi mamas. I think I said that right. And so they were really awesome. I learned so much. That's where I kind of started gradually gaining my knowledge. I went back for another event in the spring, so in about April, and I was able to connect with a practitioner for holistic womb wellness that was out of San Diego. So wow, she actually, me being a student, and just sharing my story, like, at the event, like at the meeting, and of course, like, I was emotional and stuff, and she offered to, help me with that, which was really amazing. So just do like a little bit of a consultation, just get me kind of pushed toward the right direction. And so I was kind of like, okay, awesome. But, obviously, then some things hit me in my life. Like, I was moving, I was finishing my semester, and just, I was changing jobs. So it was just so much that happened over the summer. And, so I said, okay, now I have, I can get the stuff, I can get the herbs and blah, blah, blah. And so I started my journey in September. So I was about 1.5 months in, and she basically let me know, like, this is a 3-month, like, you will see results in about 3 months of consistent, which I think is still worth the benefit, that's a benefit, like, worth it. So anyway, so I was about 1.5 months in, and the cyst would not go away. Aww. So it just like kept growing. Like, it went to 6.5 centimeters, and I was still at work. I was like crying through my shit. And finally my mom's like, you need to go to the hospital. So long story short, I was kind of like on bed rest for a week, hoping it would go away, taking all my herbs and my teas and stuff, but it just, herbs and teas don't work immediately like that. If something works immediately, it can, but there might be a drawback to that. Right. So I was feeling better, but turns out I felt better because I was on bed rest.
Oh, I guess we all feel better when we're on bed
Right.
rest.
I was like, I feel great. I can go back to work. So I had my second opinion, and they went and they were like, it grew a centimeter in a week, which is like more than it grew in like 3 or 4 years. So they were like, we need to operate immediately. But I appreciated that my surgeon, my doctor, she was very confident, at least cared that she was trying to save my ovary. So when they took it out, it was 10 centimeters. So in 2 days, out of my emergencies from Monday to Wednesday, it grew 3 more centimeters.
So they had to take it out.
Yeah.
So it could have grew even more, right?
Right. And then the concern with that is that if the cyst is too big and your doctor is concerned with that, it can actually twist over your fallopian tube and just like fuck everything up, honestly. So, that's the point where I was like, okay, I don't like surgery. I don't want to go for surgery, but I have to go because she's like, you could sacrifice both of your ovaries. So anyway, she was really upset that they weren't able to save my right ovary. But I have another one. So yeah. So that's my journey. That's what I've been going through. But now, it's made me even more determined because, I honestly thank God I had the surgery because they discovered that I also have endometriosis.
Oh my goodness.
Extensive endometriosis. Yeah. So now I know what's going on and why, during like my moon, like I sometimes can't even like get up out of bed.
Right. And
stuff. So, I'm kind of like still consulting with them, but I'm mostly just like, I have you guys can't see it, but I have a whole calendar over there, like stacked with like 4 or 5 things, like teas and yoni steams and just castor oil, like everything. So I'm just at first I was really like, I guess my journey through it was that I was really like hurt, I guess. I felt like, oh, these medicines failed me. But what I didn't realize is like, no, like they were there for me the whole time, and it's up to us, to how we care for ourselves. It's really important. But I took it as, now I can like go again and just, hit it from the ground running.
Endometriosis. And, yeah, my sister had that, and she had to go through a huge thing. She had it for years. Wow. And then she ended up, I don't know a lot about it. I just know like what she told me, and she had to get her, I forgot the surgery they have when they remove everything. And then she got the menopause early on. And she's younger than me. She's my baby sister. I probably shouldn't put out her medical information, but anyway, she don't care. She shares it. So what I've seen her go through and the struggles, and then she ended up kind of doing what you're doing, like, except she did it after going through all the holistic and trying to get a hold of the menopause type. So it's really good that you're kind of taking, jumping on, I don't know, the jumping in control right now, rather than letting it take control of you and kind of feeling sorry for yourself. Instead, you're like, okay, I'm gonna grab a hold of the horses and rock with it,
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know, this is just me personally. I, obviously like with endometriosis and things like that, it can affect fertility, and then obviously, like having one ovary.
And you don't have any kids right now, right?
Yeah, I don't have any kids. Do you want
kids?
Yes, and I'm gonna have kids, so. I'm just like, my mom, she said that. She's like, I already prayed, and you're going to have my grandbaby. So my mom said it, I'm good.
Absolutely.
I stopped freaking out after that. I was like, okay, I'm good. Yeah. My mom's praying. I'm fine. So,
wow.
I really do want to take care of myself. And I realized that, unfortunately, I guess everybody's experience is different. But, like most of the people who make our food that we buy, most of the food and the pharmaceuticals, they're not our friends, and for the most part, we have to like kind of pick and choose and decide what's best for us and our bodies. For each individual person, their story is different. And so it just, it really empowers me to kind of like you said, like I really did. It was hard for me at first. And like I was depressed for a few days and of course the medication they have you on, like that's kind of easy. But afterward, I feel 10 times better now, like mentally and physically. Well, physically, I guess more like knowing that I don't have like this big cyst like weighing me down.
That's good. That's
so
really good.
I know that I'll be.
I
know that it'll be good. So like I said, I was always a tea lady, but now, like I always joke with my friends, I'm like, I watch like YouTube, like makeup tutorials, and like everyone has their products that they show up. I have tea. I'm like, I have this dandelion nettle tea, raspberry tea, echinacea tea, like this can help with this, and
doing all these teas now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love it, honestly. Like it helps. Like even stomach, lemon ginger tea. So yeah, I feel like I went through this definitely for a reason. So that's why I like to share, because I don't want people, to go through, what I went through. Neglect, yeah, or not even knowing.
Right. So definitely get checked. And so you kind of found out because you were in pain though, right?
Right.
So it was like your body's saying, hello, there's something wrong with me, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but were you health conscious before everything? Were you already? Okay.
Yeah,
so
that was the interesting part.
Yeah.
That was part of my, I guess, frustration and
Right.
what they say with grief. It's like denial, and then there's anger. So that was part of the anger part.
Yeah, no doubt.
Was just like I'm not the kind of person that's like, I never eat anything that's processed, but I feel like I eat at least 80% healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I drink lots of water. And I exercise. I also like am diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so like working out just like helps my body.
Right.
So something I'm looking forward to get back into. But yeah, so I feel like I was definitely I started my health journey back in 2015 January, and so I feel like I've been true to that as much as I've been able to. But my sister friend, she basically said, well, imagine what if you didn't start that journey. She's like, you could have another cyst, like it could have been worse. So she's like, just think about it that way, like maybe you starting your health journey a couple of years ago.
That was only 2 years ago,
right? So and that's
like,
not that long.
You're still like walking like a 2-year-old,
right? Exactly.
So in the beginning stages,
right?
So yeah, I feel like from what you're telling me, this was like a big wake up to you, to really jump on it, really like kind of go through a growth spur in that journey.
Definitely. Like I was just like, it's now or never. Like, okay, I've been doing this, but it just it reignited that fire to continue to work out, to seek out creative ways. Because I used to have a gym in my last apartment and I don't now. So and then with working a lot, everybody can fall into that. Like you just like okay, I'll go get a hike or this or that. But yeah, it definitely was a wake up call. Like it's now or never.
More disciplined. Yeah,
definitely.
So you do and I'm sure this experience is also going to help you grow as a leader as a founder of IWISER,
right?
Because I definitely see that as a leadership role for you, and I've seen you in that leadership role, which is really cool. You're also a poet,
yes,
right?
Yes, I am.
That's pretty rad. I think that's really cool because I'm not, and I see. I mean, I'm a writer. I wrote a book, and it's coming out April. Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. But it's different. It's different than writing poems. Explain exactly what poems are. I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't really know anything about poetry.
I studied, of course, well, I don't know, maybe not everybody does, but in high school, they kind of go over like poems and I can't remember the Shakespearean terminology, to be honest with you. But there's different sonnets and different ways that you can structure poems. That's their structure, So to me, poetry is raw expression of what I'm feeling at that moment. So
does it all have to rhyme?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's prose poetry. So you could write a piece of prose that is kind of rhythmatic and rhyme and does kind of rhyme, but it's in like a prose form. And then you could write a poem and it doesn't have to rhyme at all. Like it could be, a poem could be literally like less than 10 words, just like word, it's kind of just like any art, so.
And do you do it for yourself or do you do it for like other people? Like what is your intentions for your poetry?
Well, it started out for myself. I've been writing poetry since I was 13. So I say like fitness honestly is part of the reason to save my life. Like just going through what I went through as a kid and having PTSD from like trauma and everything like that. And not only my fitness journey, but also my journey with poetry. It started when I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow. So
I definitely started writing for myself and just really, and it's kind of always been like that. So now I will write a poem and I might think like, oh, I could, you know, I do perform now at different events and things. So
where did you perform last?
I performed at the opening of the opening of Indigenous Nations Month for ASU.
Oh my god, so cool.
So yeah.
So was there a lot of people?
Yeah, it was pretty busy.
Did you memorize it and say it, or?
Not at that time, because I had a new piece. It was new, is kind of like, it was about a month ago, but you know, like it was a pretty new piece for me, and you know, it was right after I had
like read it.
Yeah, so I read it. So sometimes I'll read pieces. I prefer to try to memorize them because I feel like it's more impactful.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's better reading it. So I guess it depends on the piece, but it was pretty rad. I loved it.
Okay.
I love it.
Before we leave, I'm gonna ask her to read one or say one.
Yeah.
Or recite one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited because I actually don't. I mean, I've seen them on YouTube, the open mics, the poets, and I'm like, whoa, and then I'll like try to do it, and I'm like, and then I was like, and then I'm like, I need to go get a drink. That's what I normally do. That's how it starts for me. That's my poet, you know, touch.
Yeah,
definitely. But that's really cool. So you've been doing that since you were 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so, so you're a poet. You're founder of IWISER, you're going to school. What else am I missing? You love animals. Tell me something else. I feel like you are, and this happens with a lot of artists. Artists are involved in multiple things. Yeah. So what else you have?
This is something that I've been doing for a few years, but I just started really cultivating it and putting my time into it over the last summer, is short story writing, which is really exciting for me. I know some people are like, okay, that's like a little different than poetry, but for me, it's really different, but they have their own similarities. So just telling that narrative and you know, I mean, but yeah, that's what I started doing. So I'm working on a short story book.
A book?
Yes.
Hey, girl.
Yes. So I love short stories. I've always loved reading ever since I was a kid. But I think college ruined reading for me, to be honest. I just like reading all those pages. It can be so overwhelming. So especially while I'm going to college, you know, I love reading short stories. So I love Sherman Alexie. He's like my favorite. Love how raw he is. Jack London. He's back from the turn of the century.
Are these nonfiction or fiction writers?
They're fiction, so they're like fiction based in reality.
Okay.
So Sherman Alexie, you know, he bases his experiences growing up on his reservation up in Coeur d'Alene. Spokane, I know one of those, not sure which one, but so he shares his experiences, but he kind of like changes the names a little bit to cover the innocent and whatnot. Some of it's sci-fi. Yeah, exactly. That's what they say. I love that quote. It's like, be careful what you do to a writer. You might end up as a material. So
everybody out there,
change the names to protect the innocent. But and then Jack London too, like he does a lot of from his own experiences. He was actually shanghaied as a kid off the San Francisco coast, like in the late 1800s. He spent time in the Yukon with sled dogs and things like that.
That's
I just love nature, and I love just adventure stories. So yeah. So
you're writing an adventure story? What do you?
I'm actually
Are you like in the middle? Like, what's your process right now with the short story?
So the short stories, the ones that I kind of write they can be anywhere from like 1 to 2 pages to 13 to 15 pages. Some short stories can be like 30 pages, and but yeah. So really, they're just. I don't know how to describe them. I do have adventure stories and definitely like that are influenced from that like Jack London feel. And then I just have stories about life.
Are they based off your? Okay, I was just gonna ask that.
Yeah, they're mostly based off my experiences. I have a couple of them that are just raw, like just I'll have a dream and I'll just like be like, whoa, okay, that's the first opening line, or that's the closing, you know, like I know where I want to go with that. So those are actually the most. Writing my own experiences, those come naturally to me. The ones that are a little bit, you know, they have that little piece. I'm like, okay, like how do I tie this in? But it's a challenge, and I love a challenge. So yeah.
So so you're writing stories, and I did read, I think one of your blogs on your website.
Yes.
what's the website called?
It's IWISER4.
Okay, IWISER. Okay, so I'm searching it out, and I was like, IWISER. Okay, IWISER with a Z.
Right.
And I was like, and then I had to like look on Instagram. I was like, oh, there's a 4. Okay.
Right.
So IWISER4.com. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so I read some of the blogs on there, and one of yours was a creeper one.
Yes.
Where you about the creeps.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is, what really got me was your pictures. I was like, oh, your pictures were so cute.
Nice.
I was like, okay, I love that shirt. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm digging the shirt. Kept reading. So I was like, oh, nice.
Can't Fail Clothing. Shout out.
Are they on Instagram?
Yeah, they are.
What's their handle?
I think it's at Can't Fail Design.
Okay.
But if you start typing Can't Fail, you should find them.
Nice. Are they out of Arizona?
Yeah, they're actually a local. That's another thing that I do. Good transition.
Ooh.
So yeah, they're a local t-shirt, like apparel, Indigenous owned company out of AZ, and they're really awesome. Rudy, and they actually helped get me started on my clothing line.
You got a clothing line?
Yes.
Are you wearing it?
No, I'm not. I really do.
Next time
I will. Yeah, so they kind of helped me back a couple years ago with basically just getting me hooked up with printing and shirts and stuff, and just kind of helping me through that process. So
nice.
Yeah, and now we're working on our release. It was going to be a fall release, but since shit hit the fan, it might be like a winter release, which I love winter.
Nice.
Might be like a little bit more. I'm gonna kind of like
for your shirts.
Yeah, for my shirts.
What are they gonna say? Or what's the theme?
So our shirts are Since Time Immemorial, so EST, Time Immemorial. So check us out on Instagram too.
Since Time Immemorial.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that sound for? Like, what?
So,
tell me about that.
Yeah. So basically, what that represents is, as many know, like for Indigenous people, not just here in the Americas, but all over the world, the knowledge that we've been blessed with and that we've cultivated and passed on generation after generation. You know, sometimes the modern narrative tries to ask, okay, when, how long did you do this? Or how long were you know, Saponi or Dene or Apache? Like, you know, and their answer is just like, since forever. Like, I don't know, you know? Yeah. And so that's kind of the narrative of Since Time Immemorial, that our knowledge is eternal. And that obviously knowledge evolves and changes, and there's things that are introduced, but that our being, just not as human beings, but even before being human beings, that knowledge and that power is eternal, and it's always been. Right. And it always will be in some shape, form, or place. So yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So your shirts, and how do you tie all this in together? Or do you like to keep them as separate, you know, separate goals or dreams, or I don't know what you want to call them, but separate, all of the things you got going on. Yeah. Do you want to intertwine them, or do you want to just keep them all separate, or so what's your plans with everything?
Bringing them together is my in some way, shape, or form is kind of like one of my goals. So to kind of integrate things, but then also having them independent enough so that in the future, you know, I can help other, you know, have other people come on board. Okay, gotcha. You know, so because, you know, sometimes cuckoo, because it's just like, okay, there's all these things, and my body just feels like it's getting sucked into a black hole. But it's fun. I'm kind of crazy in a good way that way.
That's good. It's really good. I'm just trying all these things. And making things happen and testing things out. And you're very young too, so that's really admirable of you to stay so focused, so grounded, and do all these things, and still have that desire that at the heart of it, that I feel like is what we were talking about in the beginning, is to help people. Exactly. Which is really awesome. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. And ETI, our clothing line, it's another branch off of, I feel like, IWISER. It's like empowerment through style and art. So it's a little bit less, I guess, direct, but it's definitely it's more of like, just like, I'm empowered when I feel like those raw artistic just flares come up, and I can just get those words on the paper, and I can sit down and just write out a story. Like, it just came from, like, there's that empowerment of that energy and that power. So that's what ETI is, you know, for me. And we do have ETI. ETI. So so that's our one line that we have. Our one section, I guess you could call it. I can't think of the word, but we have our Indige
launch or line, or I can't think of the word, but basically Indigiful, Indigifly, Indigifresh. So that's where we kind of started. And so now I've kind of been working on my skills because my partner is a graphic design artist.
Okay.
So I've been working on the boards and stuff like that. And so
do you have any shirts made already? Or
yeah, I do.
Are they here?
Yes, they're here.
Okay, grab one.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab one.
and I'm gonna adjust myself because the lighting. I didn't even know there was something in my face. Ha ha. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say, well. She's grabbing a shirt. And when she gets back, we're going to hear more about it. During that time, I'm going to check everything else. Yeah. So I hope everybody's ready for my book launch coming April 2018. Helen Edwards, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. I'm really excited to see what her shirt looks like. Oh, here it comes. Okay. And this is ETI, right?
Yeah, so this is ETI. This is our new shirt. Sorry, it's wrinkled, but this is our new launch, and this one's called Perennial Impressions.
Ooh.
So this one is my rendition of the dog flower. So in Saponi culture, the dog flower is significant because it represents the start of spring. So when you see dog flowers, blooming dogwood flowers, you know that it's time to plant corn.
Plant corn, okay.
Yeah, so it relates to ETI in the fact that it's kind of that genesis, you know, the genesis of a new cycle and of a new year, since, you know, and beginnings.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
wow.
So that's very nice. Perennial Impression shirt. And then we also have our IWISER shirt that I designed.
So you design these?
Yes. So I designed these.
She's also an artist, designer, drawer.
And I paint too. But that's
this is her
that's for therapy.
Wait, did you draw this like all by yourself?
Yeah.
Without like a stencil or anything?
Yeah, no stencil.
What?
Yeah.
Do you guys see this? Like that's amazing. Oh my, that's cool. All right.
That one's called Cosmic Elk.
Yeah,
so,
it definitely looks like Cosmic Elk.
Yeah. And I actually have a series. I have a wolf, Mosnuke. Why can't I think of the English word? Oh my God, otters. I'm like, I can't think of it. And then a bear. So
no
I have
way.
like a series. Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah. So, and then this is our IWISER shirt.
I'm gonna put it a little bit closer.
So you guys can kind of check it out. So I designed all of this myself. A couple of the items are just the buffalo and the hummingbird. I actually got royalty free, but all the other ones, the feather and the flower and the wave and everything. So I basically got input from our different IWISER members on what symbols they felt represented their cultures and their communities. And so I did my very best to try to like work with them in designing them. Cool. And really just for the sole purpose of creating them for the group. So not for my own profit. Right. So like, yeah. So, but I thought it was important that we had something that was universal, but not too simplistic, you know, that kind of showed the diversity of that.
That's good. Diversity is really good.
Yeah. So that's our IWISER shirt.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I'm also a musician.
Hey,
sorry.
Just when you thought you knew it all.
You didn't. And I can't mention that without giving another shout out. Sorry, all my clothes are like everywhere, but yeah. So I do. I'm a hip hop artist.
Like rap?
Yes.
Oh, you rap?
Yeah. So I rap. So and yeah, I rap, and I don't have like a mixtape out yet, but you could check me out on SoundCloud.
What if I just start like busting out in a beat? Can you
it's been a minute, but I probably could.
Really? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. No. I mean, I'm not a good beatboxer, but I can spit a little bit.
Oh. Chilling with Helen up in this place, and you know that we're gonna go space to space because our thoughts are cosmic. You know you got it, girl. Don't doubt yourself. You know that the way is truly on your heart. So listen up and don't think that. Listen to the world, thinking too smart. Nah, you enlighten. So know it and strike them like lightning. I know it's been a little bit, so I'm kind of rusty. So don't judge my spit, but just know D-Day's legit. Oh shit, it's been a minute. Damn. So I can't do that without shouting out my man.
That was amazing.
Forbidden Theory. So
Forbidden
I do
Theory.
hip hop with Forbidden Theory. So I have my own solo stuff on SoundCloud, Daye Hunter. And then they are.
Is that what it says? What does it say?
Yeah, Forbidden Theory.
Oh, it does say. Okay, it's 4. Okay.
Yeah, so 4.
Wow.
Forbidden Theory. So check them out.
Okay.
They're on Facebook and hashtag them on Instagram and stuff. And they're hip hop as much. We're the kids that were like total metalheads in high school, but you know we also have a passion for hip hop. So every time I show the shirt, they're like, oh, "That's raw, that's metal," and I'm like,
"Yeah, it does look like a corn kind of like a But that's really cool. Forbidden Theory. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a mixture of their culture, their Diné, their Navajo. So mixing their culture of corn stalks.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then
definitely check that out.
Their metal background.
Maybe I can play some of their. Are they on Spotify?
Yeah. They're not on Spotify, but you know what? I'm actually their kind of PR person a little. To help them out. So I will.
It'd be cool to
I should recommend
a playlist for booty yoga or something.
Yeah. Oh, that would be dope. It would be very interesting.
That's how you get because people ask me all the time like, oh, I want to hear that song. Where do I follow you? I'm like, check me out.
Yeah, check it out on.
That is so rad! Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
you've got a lot going on, girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder you need your energy. You need your body. Yeah. Full speed for yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because it needs to catch up with my mind.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Let me see. Make sure we're not running out of time here. Okay, so I ask almost everybody this, because I forgot to ask Aaron on my last podcast, but sexy freedom. So sexy could mean anything to anybody and a different meaning for everybody. Yeah. So what does sexy mean to you?
Oh man, I love that question. Because for me, like, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like my version of sexy for me personally, and so in general, I feel like sexy is really just being confident with yourself. Like, like I feel like a confident woman or man is very sexy to me, and so I know that, and I know when I'm feeling my sexiest is when I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling healthy, I'm feeling awake and alert. So and healthy and just rocking the shit out of whatever, like I don't know,
like she just spit like
that
was fucking hella sexy. Holy shit.
Yeah, like literally. I mean, there's grandmas that are, I mean, it may be weird to think about it, but there's grandmas that have stopped. Like my mom, she's 62 years old, she's
really sexy.
Yeah, she is, like, and not even in that, way of like I don't know. It's like sexy doesn't always have to do with sex. It's about your energy and that just beauty that just flows.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, the energy.
Raw, flowing, beautiful energy. And that can be intimidating to a lot of people, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for me too, and just like the ideas of like sexiness can sometimes, I was always so insecure when I was a kid because I developed kind of a little bit early. So, I'd be like a 12-year-old and I'd be like creeps. Hence the blog. So check that out for more. But yeah, so I always was so ashamed of just like, not ashamed of my body, but I didn't like wearing dresses. I didn't like showing off my figure too much because I just felt like I was targeted. Because I just feel like my mom says I'm like a little ray of sunshine, like you can't put a light under, you're gonna still see it. So I kind of tried to hide that for a while, and now I just don't give a damn, like, and I can say that a little bit more and more. I have my good days and my bad days, but I know that there's times where people are, I mean, appreciation is one thing, but when people are being creepy or weird, and that can like kind of make you like retreat and just fuck them, like that's what I think. And I don't know. That's what I think too. I'm with you. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And and kind of it's so interesting because, talking about, especially like things like, sexual violence and stuff like that, there's so much body shaming and victim blaming. But, like, I forget where I saw it, probably on Instagram somewhere, but like they said, like people sexually assaulted people before there were mini skirts, like, you know what I mean? So that has nothing to do with us, and everybody has their own comfort level. And what they feel comfortable with. And I know like for my tribe personally, like, you know, in the summer when it was hot, like women didn't wear shirts at all and breasts weren't sexualized. And I've heard a similar narrative for a lot of people. So that just kind of slowly, you know, as much as we still live in I guess like an imperfect world, or such a broad world where there's so many different people, we can kind of, I try to like just stay true to myself, and like whether I'm wearing like Levi's and a band tee, or whether I'm all dolled up or whatever, you know, it's just confidence. I'll just rock it. Like,
I love that.
Who cares?
I love that. No, it's a great answer. I have one more question for you, and then I'm going to ask you to read your poem so we can close out. So this question, it's kind of, I'm going to twist the question a little bit, because usually I ask, like, you know, what would you tell anybody out there who feels like, you know, giving up on life, with the recent tragedy I had with my brother taking his life. I want to send a positive message out there, but this time I kind of want to change up the question. We all go through ups and downs, and I will go through them again, and you will go through them again. Right. So this question is for you to send out the message for those out there and for you out there. So one day, if you're feeling kind of like down, you can look back on this podcast and see the answer that you're about to give yourself. And the question is, when you're going through a hard time, when you feel like depressed and you feel like giving up or unworthy, what is your message for the future you, or those people out there right now going through that hard time? What is your message to empower, inspire, or lift them up to keep going?
Oh man. So try to be as concise as I can. I know what that's like. You know, I struggled with depression and PTSD for 10 years and not realizing that a lot of what I had gone through for me personally had to do with trauma. So for, you know, to keep going and going, it just became so difficult because I didn't even know what I was facing. And I just felt like, you know, okay, it's going to get better, but it's been 7, 10, you know, years. And so I know I've been through that, you know. And I really didn't think that anything would get better. Like, I really didn't think anything would get better. But, you know, I would say just, for me, it's just my ancestors. You know, I really do feel like I had such a hard time knowing my purpose in this life until I really got a firm view and kind of really was able to kind of see a little bit of a bigger picture about where my family has come from and where I am today and what my ancestors have been through. And to see that, especially for a lot of people, for many people, I think that's the case, you know, especially with intergenerational trauma, not just in Native communities and communities of color, but all people. And, you know, I would just say, like, you know, it doesn't always, there's only so much one generation can do. And I noticed that. But I saw each successive generation like, okay, things are a little less shitty, you know? And so I just felt like for myself, like, you know, I can choose to not keep going or to drag my feet or to slowly, you know, kill myself, you know, with substances and things like that. But I've seen what that did to people around me, and and how that impacted me as a youth. And I never want to do that to a precious child, you know? And so for me, it's kind of just like, go big or go home, you know, like, I'm here. Fuck it, right? Again, I don't know why that's my theme of the week, apparently, but, you know, it's just kind of like, you're here, you know, you're here. And sometimes people may feel, I know what that's like to be like, okay, for what reason? Like, literally, this world's insane. But I'm here. And one of my sisters shared with me that, you know, she kind of believes, and I'm kind of open-minded to that too, about reincarnation and about us being able to control where we go in our next lives and things. And that's also rooted in my culture too. So it's kind of interesting. So to think like, okay, I picked this to an extent, you know, maybe I didn't know the shit I was getting myself into, but, you know, my highest self, you know, had a conversation with higher powers and decided that this is it. And so, you know, I just figure I only have this time left. And as my mom says, it may feel like a long time, but it's really not. you know? And so just keep active, just exercise, eat healthy. If you're eating a bunch of sugar and salt and you're like inside and you're not getting sunlight, like you will automatically like I feel depressed in like a day. So
yeah,
I would just say to, you know, just find your niche of what makes you happy, gives you purpose. Don't tolerate other people's bullshit. Like that took me a long time to not like be like to try to escape that pattern of people pleasing and stuff. And it's still a journey, but I don't know if that's a concise thing, but just know that there are people that feel the same way you feel. I mean, I've been through this journey and I feel like I'm somewhat on the other side of it, but still, like I shared, like I go through it too, you know, of like, what the hell, like, why am I here? Or like, you know, what's going on? Who pulled what string? But, you know, you just have to realize it's like a ride, you know, and just find your niche.
That's a great,
find your puke bag.
I love that answer. I think it was a very unique answer when you said the ancestors and the reincarnation. And I mean, that's one thing that I think people forget is we all have different beliefs, and staying open-minded can probably save you to finding a different reason than the ones you're used to holding on and keep moving forward. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's awesome. Definitely. It made me think. And that's one of the things I love about coming and meeting with people is I learned something new. And that was so beautiful. Like, honestly, it's like my flower in my head was like, boo. Okay, maybe yours sounded better. Mine was like, boo. I was like,
hey, it works together. You add those together and you got good audio.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I'm so excited to hear your poem now.
Yay. Okay, so let's see.
So we're gonna close out with her poem. Yay. And I'm excited to see what poem you're gonna read for us. Or are you gonna read it or cite it or?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I do better with poetry if I'm like really prepared. Otherwise, I'm kind of the same. I'm like, So yeah, that's another thing. Never think people who do something a lot are just the pros. Like, you know, they just do it more. You do it like enough times, you love it, you'll be good at it too. Okay, so of course, like, it totally didn't. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this one because it's short, sweet, and to the point.
Okay, here, let's move you a little bit more towards the center because
awesome.
Want to give her the stage here.
Yay! All right. Okay.
This is a poem, not a rap.
Yes, it's a little bit different. I know it's here somewhere. Sometimes my poems like to hide. They'll hide and just like.
So when did you write this one?
This one I wrote probably 2 years ago. I had a dream and I just woke up from the dream, and I think this one is it. I just had a vision of people and women walking. And so it just kind of, it's a really simple way to kind of bring myself back to, I guess, like the sweeter things, the simple things in life. Yeah, so this one's called Echoes of Time.
Okay.
I see echoes of time, glimpses of the future, hints of what's to come, prophetic deliverances, nuances to show the potential power of their guidances. I am an old woman, a newborn child, a young man in the prime of his life. I am the echoes of things to come, mending the fabrics of time that have yet to come undone, rehemming the stitching, repairing the reoccurring design. I am life. I am the force that drives all things forward. I am the eagle that flies, the mother who nurses, and the cub who cries at the life in her breast, as we all once did. I am there with the pain in your chest, in heartbreak and in death. I keep things moving forward. I give all breath. I am life.
Dang.
And that wasn't even the one I thought it was, honestly.
I really like that.
That was a different one. I told you
I was trying to figure out like who I was, and then at the end was like, I am life. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
That was deep.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I feel, like I said, my poems, I feel poetry.
That wasn't the women, the dream one though, right?
Yeah, that was a different. See, they have
It's meant to happen.
Yeah, that was totally. It surfaced itself.
Yeah,
That's how I feel. I feel like these words, from the moment they hit my brain to the moment I type them in my phone or put them on even when I'm picking them, and
yeah,
they're alive. It's a narrative. It's bigger than me. I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And where are we going to see you next? What's next? Like, what's the next thing?
What am I doing next? I have some, I don't know if this is next, but I just did a photo shoot last weekend in a studio.
So we'll see pictures.
So we'll see photos. Yeah. So that's coming up soon.
Where are we going to see them? On your Instagram or on IWISER?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you follow me at D-Daye with the E at the end, Hunter.
We'll place everything in the show notes.
And,
yeah. Subscribe, leave your comments, follow D-Daye, Dominique.
Day. I like that.
Yeah.
Bring me back to the hood.
Hey. So thank you so much for joining us. Sexy Freedom Media Podcast number 8. And feel free to share and subscribe.
Awesome. Peace,
y'all.